So this is the fifth and last video that I'm doing on a 5-part series on self-publishing on Amazon's KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. If this is your first time, I hope that you've watched the other videos, which means at this point you've set up an account, you've affiliated your bank account with that, with payments, you know how to do the artwork for the book, and you have loaded a paperback version of your manuscript already onto your bookshelf of KDP. So in this final part, I'm only going to talk about the ebook, and the ebook format is totally different from the paperback version. You need to use software called Kindle Create to format your ebook before you can publish it on Amazon. So in this final video, we're going to talk about ebook, how to make the format, how to load it, and how to publish it. At this stage, you have already set up your KDP account, and if you open it, the first page you will see will look like this. This is what we call your bookshelf. And if you click on the plus Kindle ebook or plus paperback, you will load a new manuscript. Since I already showed you how to load a paperback in video 4, in this video, let's link an ebook to that paperback. The only difference in linking versus adding a new manuscript is the benefit of not having to type out all the details that you filled out in the paperback already. There's no reason for you to change anything here. Everything basically stays the same, except when you get to the keywords and category part. This is the ultimate benefit of doing both paperback and ebook formats. You get double the allotted keywords and double the allotted categories that you can choose because you have two formats. So these are the keywords I use for the paperback, but for my ebook, I'm going to use a new set of keywords. Keywords are the things that people type in on Amazon when they search for books or things on Amazon. There are many services that will help you figure out which are the best keywords to use. In my case, I'm just going to wing it and add the keywords that I think pertains to the story that I wrote and possibly the keywords that I would use myself when I search for something on Amazon. So in the previous video, I also suggested making a Word document with some short notes about your manuscript. Mine includes everything from the pricing to the book format, the ISBN number, and also possible keywords I write down on these notes. The highlighted ones you see in yellow are the ones that I used for the paperback. So I'm going to choose 7 new keywords for the ebook format. The second unlimited benefit, as I call it, to publishing an ebook and a paperback is having not 2, but 4 options for categories, because you get 2 per format and you have 2 formats, so 4 categories. So the categories are set to my paperback, which I will change to something else in my ebook format. Once I've chosen the new categories, I'm going to copy and paste them to my short notes, and now I have a record of the categories that I chose for this manuscript. If your book is related to anything with children, then you should fill out the age range here. Mine isn't, so I won't. And the pre-order thing, I don't really get it. Unless you're a famous author, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't understand why you would want to pre-order something, so I'm going to leave that out as well. I'm not going to select that. And that concludes the details page of this ebook that you want to load. So save and continue, and we're going to move on to the content page. The first thing you're going to choose on the content page is the DRM. The DRM you can go and research a little bit yourself and decide whether that's a good fit for you or not. As I understand it, it has to do with giving the readers the option to lend your book to others or to buy your book as a gift for others. And I definitely want that, so I'm going to choose this option. Next, you need to upload your manuscript. Now, I was under the impression that you could not load a Word document, but it looks like you actually can. However, I found that the Kindle Create software was very useful because it loads your manuscript exactly as you have edited it on that software. However, converting from a Word document to the Kindle Create, there are a few things to note. So I'm going to show you how to use the Kindle Create software. First, you need to download the software, and once you've done that, you open it and you're going to see a screen like this. It's going to give you two options: resume an existing project, so that's you already having something there and you want to go and make changes, or create a new one. I haven't loaded this manuscript yet, so let's create a new one. Now it's going to give you a couple more options. You pick what's relevant to you. I'm going for an English novel. And what I'm going to do is actually load the paperback Word document version of my manuscript here. I'm going to find that and load that here to the ebook. Kindle Create is going to convert that to show the chapter titles and so on. You can choose that it automatically selects that, or you can deselect it. I don't really think this is very important because you're probably going to do a manual walkthrough anyway. So I usually just say, yes, sure, add it, whatever. Then you have a couple of other options. You can choose the theme. It doesn't give you a lot of choices, only 4 choices, but if you click on them, it'll show you what the differences are. I like this one, it's kind of romantic. Then next you have to start editing. So you highlight what you want to edit. So in this case, that's my fictional author. And then under elements, I'm choosing to tag that as author name. Because I loaded this from paperback, I don't need that ISBN stuff. So I take that out. This is just a little bit that I write in the beginning of the book, but you can see it's all unformatted. So I pick clear, and then under elements, I try and edit it, and it doesn't work. So I clear it again, and I go to formatting, and under formatting, I just do a simple format. Change the font, change the size, and change the position of this little prescript or whatever it's called. Don't really need this because you don't need the chapters because it's going to show on the ebook anyway. And then you just keep playing around with this. Under elements and formatting is where you're going to find everything. The book title, you highlight the chapters. If you select it in the beginning to have everything tagged, the chapters, because it picks up the chapters already, those will already be chosen. But it doesn't hurt to go through the whole manuscript and make sure that everything is correct. You can also select sub-chapters, everything you can edit from here. For the most part, everything is going to work really well until you get to a point where you've used tabs or indentations. So I've used some this is a text message conversation between 2 people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to use Kindle's formatting to format the indentations and italize it. And at the bottom you can see there's some spot where you choose the indentation. So for the first speaker, I'm going to choose a 5. And then for the second speaker, I'm going to use italize it and also make it more of an indentation. So I'm going to do a 15. So it's 2 different people sending each other text messages. The reason I point this out is because when I didn't edit it on Kindle and I just loaded it from the Word document, it looked all right when I was looking at it on Kindle Create. But when I actually loaded it and looked at the preview on Amazon, on Kindle Direct Publishing, it actually came out quite wrong. Like the spacing wasn't right and you couldn't figure out which one was where. They didn't line up or anything. So that's why I would recommend, if you have anything like this, indentations and stuff like that, clear the formatting and then redo it on Kindle Create. And then you know for a fact that it's going to have the right spacing and the right indentations that you want. So you can see they're lining up nicely. Speaker number 1 is not italized and speaker number 2 is. Once you're done, you want to save this. It's actually going to ask you to save this before you're done. And I'm going to save this as the ebook version of my fictional book that I'm loading with the Mickey Mouse as the author. And you skip through everything. You make sure everything looks right on the page. Once you're done with your format, you can click Preview. And it's going to give you some options on how to preview. You can preview it as a tablet or as a phone or whatever. And it's just another option for you to have a look and make sure that everything lines up the way that you want it and looks the way that you want to do it. You can also skip through pages, go to different pages. There's all kinds of options to preview. If you're happy, you press publish. And this means it's publishing it as a Kindle file to your computer. It doesn't actually mean that it's publishing it on Amazon just yet. It's just saving it basically to your computer. So back on the Amazon page, you want to load what you've just done. So you go find the file. It's going to be a .kpf file. You find that file, you press upload. And there you go, successfully uploaded your manuscript. Okay, below that is your cover creator. I've showed you how to work with the cover creator in video 4, but I'll just quickly run you through this one again, it's very much the same as the paperback version. If you have an image, you choose that image from your computer. If you haven't used this before, go and look at video 4. This is the image I want to use, the coffee one. The Kindle software, Create software, is going to give you some options of what you can use. Because it's Kindle eBook, it's only going to have one page. You're not going to have a back page, so it's relatively easy. So it gives you some options with a picture or an image or without. You choose which one you like. Once it opens that image that you chose, you can go and edit this yourself. Go play around with it. You click on what you want to edit, for example, the author's name. You can go choose the color. You can go choose the font. For size, I would say stick with auto fit so that you don't go over the borders. And there's lots of other little options and things that you can play with here. You can play with this, and you can, once you're done with this and you've saved it, you can always come back and change it later as long as you haven't published it yet. So go ahead and play around with this until you find the style that you like. When you're happy with your design, you can save and submit it. And that'll take you back to your ebook content page. On the content page, you press Launch Previewer to see how it will look. You see, this was the part where mine, because it had indentations, it showed up kind of weird and not the right way I wanted it to look. So that's why I suggest that you format indentations in that on the Kindle Create software. So this is the tablet version, and you can skip through. This is what it's going to look like on the tablet. It shows you exactly what it's going to look like on the tablet, which is really cool. And at the top right, you can't really see it there, but at the top right, you can also choose the phone version of this, and you can skip through this and make sure that everything looks all right and the formatting looks okay. And once you're done, you go back to your details page, and you will see there's an option for ISBN number. Since my book and my ebooks are already linked, it's not necessary to fill that out. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go save and continue. Now you're on the final page of publishing your ebook. And please note that I've sped this video up. It's not real time. When I actually did this, filling everything out and waiting for it to load, it took a lot longer than what you're seeing right now. And I mentioned that just so that you have a better idea of time management. Okay, on the pricing page, the first thing that you need to decide is if you want to join KDP Select. So far, I've not really heard anything bad about it, so I usually just join it. But you can do a little bit of research on your own and see if it fits your needs. The thing is, if you choose KDP Select, there are a few other things that you might not be able to select that will be pre-selected for you. You'll see a little bit later on in this video. Okay, the same with territories. I want my book to be available worldwide and in all territories. Pricing is the most difficult decision that you have to make. I don't really think that there's a right and wrong when it comes to pricing, to be honest, because it really is content and audience dependent. I'm going to choose 70% royalty option, and I like to keep my pricing low because I'm a new author and I rather want the publicity than the profit. So I'm going to go for the lowest allowed price for ebook under the KDP Select program, which is $2.99. Like I said, if you didn't enroll in the KDP Select, I think you can choose an even lower price here. I think you have a bit more freedom. But on that KDP Select, you don't have that much freedom. At $2.99, I think it's the lowest you can go. So you'll see on the right side, KDP will calculate the pricing against your royalty and show you what your earnings will be on the price that you've chosen. And you can play around a little bit and see what the different prices will be, and you can see what the different countries will show and so on. Below that, the book lending is already chosen for you and it's locked. And again, I think that is linked to being enrolled to the KDP Select program. And that's it. You can choose to save as a draft and you can come back later and make some changes, or you can publish if you are very sure that everything is correct and ready to be published. The first ebook I published actually went up really quick, as in like within 2 hours. The second one took a lot longer, maybe around a day, around 24 hours or more to publish. As long as you've not pressed that publish button, you can go and make as many changes as you like. But after you've published, making changes to your ebook even is still relatively easy. But making changes to your paperback after you've published it is really very, very complicated. I tried to do that and it took a really long time to get the changes made. So make very sure that everything is the way that you want it before you press that publish button. And that concludes my little self-publishing video series. I really hope that they helped you, and I wish you every success in publishing.